Well, talking of dominance, that has very much been the story of the day, and particularly the second half at Molineux, where Chelsea lead Wolves by 6 goals to 2. A hat-trick for Noni Madueke, and Enzo Maresca heading for his first victory as Chelsea head coach in what has been a scintillating second half, particularly.
Yeah, second half, they've just blown Wolves away. They've been unbelievable. And actually, they could have made it 7 or 8. They really have. They've had 3 or 4 chances to really hurt Wolves, and they've got sloppy, but they've just totally outclassed them. It looks like they've got 13 players on the pitch. Wolves have not had a kick. They've been miles off it, and I actually worry a little bit for Gary O'Neill, because there looks a complete lack of confidence and a lack of belief actually being sucked out of the team in this second half, thinking that they might be in a relegation fight this year. You know, you sell Max Kilman, you sell Neto. They don't look like they've got much to offer. But Chelsea have been different class this second half. Really, really good.
Look, we've spoken about it a few times over the course of the afternoon, both before the game and during it, that you can say what you want about some of the way that Chelsea have operated, but what you cannot deny is that they have some incredible players in this squad.
Well, they've got World Cup winners in the team. You know, they've got some proper players in the side, and you can't get away from the fact that they've got top talent. And look, you go through the whole squad, and you're looking at players going, that is a top player. The one for me, Mudryk, is the one who I'm not really sure about. You know, you're getting rid of Sterling. I'd get rid of Mudryk and keep Sterling. You got Neto on the left. You got Madueke on the right. Cole Palmer as a number 10. Nicholas Jackson played well up front today, but then they take him off and they're bringing on Nkunku. They're bringing on João Felix. You know, they're bringing on top players, and Dewsbury Hall in midfield. You know, Cucurella comes off. They've got an abundance of talent in the team, and that is the final whistle. They've won the game 6-2. Madueke's going over to give his shirt to the Chelsea fans. He was getting booed throughout the game, but he didn't care. And I love that, actually. You know, when the player's getting booed and then he goes and scores a hat-trick, you know, it shows what confidence he's got in himself. But what a performance from them. They were by far the better team and completely outclassed them in the second half.
And actually, we spoke about it again before kick-off when Chris Basham was here about, you know, Chelsea making signings. And as a player, what you want to do is, as Noni Madueke, as you would think done this afternoon, said, well, I'm playing next weekend. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'll be here.
Yeah, and that's all you can do as a player. You know, when you get the opportunity to play, you stake your claim and you take your opportunity. And, you know, Madueke, I think, actually was good last season for Chelsea. Probably a little bit unfortunate that he didn't start the first game, but he's been patient. You know, he gets back in and he's put in a top performance. And I think that right there, what I saw today, is probably Chelsea's best team. You know, if they had look, they might sign a centre forward and then Jackson might drop out. But what I saw there is Mudryk off, the second half performance there. Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer as a 10, Madueke on the right, Neto on the left, and Nicholas Jackson up front. That is their best team right now. And then the other players have got to try and get in the team. But yeah, Cole Palmer scored 1, created 3. You know, he had actually had a quiet game. But the passes that he makes were the crucial passes, and Madueke was the star player on the pitch. But yeah, they were really good.
But that's an interesting point, isn't it? About, you said, oh, that's their best team, and you've talked about the top end of the pitch. You know, no Romeo Lavia today. Yeah. Still no Reece James as well to come back into the team.
Yeah, but I like Gusto. Yeah. You know, I think you know, Chelsea fans are starting to move away from, you know, Reece James now. You know, he's a great player. He's come through the youth system, but he's always injured. So you can't rely on him to be fit all the time. And I think Gusto's been really good. And I'd say at the moment, Gusto, even if Reece James was fit, would probably start. Cucurella, who took a lot of stick last season, you know, with, you know, them saying that he was, you know, it was a poor signing, goes and plays in the Euros and is unbelievable, comes back like a different player. So now you go with that set in stone. They've got their left back in Cucurella. He's a really good player. Then it's just about at the back. You know, they got Levi Colwill, looks really good for Fana, who we forget was been there for a while and they paid a few quid for. You know, they put in some good, decent performance. So they've got a really, really good team, a strong team. It's just whether they do it week in, week out. You know, are they going to be inconsistent? That's what you saw last season. 1 minute they're really good, then they're really bad. They've got to do it week in, week out.
And we actually talk, there's absolutely no denying Cole Palmer and his place in the team, and it's an absolutely brilliant second goal. The scorer of the first goal, still a lot of questions about whether Nicholas Jackson is the answer, but took his goal well. Again, you can question the defending, but good start from him. Yeah,
I mean, again, as you can say, you get the opportunity. You put the ball in the back of net, and he did that. He gets into a good area, scores his goal. I think they will look to bring someone in, if I'm honest. I think they will look to try and sign a real target centre forward like an Osimhen, someone like that. You're forgetting you've got João Felix and Nkuku as well who can play in that position. They've got so many players. Where are you going to play them all? You know, today you look at that and you go, that is a real good Chelsea side. And if they had a top star striker, you can't write them off for the title.
Really?
Well,
that good?
Well, I mean, you're putting a performance like that away from home. You can't write them off. If they get it right, you've got world-class players in that team. You can't write them off to challenge for the title. No way. They're in the hunt if they play like that, for sure.
You speak to people who watch a lot of Spanish football in particular, and they will say, well, João Felix, very talented player, but no end product.
Yeah.
I think you would say that the case for the defence on that would be the finish for the goal, because it's a brilliant finish to end a very, very good Chelsea move.
Yeah, it was a great goal, a great run into the box, and, you know, he's a star quality. He's going to put that in the back of net. There was actually a couple of chances after that where he played some really terrible balls when he could have made it 7 or 8. They're putting up a cricket score in the end. But, yeah, look, João Felix is a top player. You know, and I'll go back to the fact they can challenge for the title, Chelsea. I'm telling you now, they can challenge. They play like that. If they're consistent and they play like that week in, week out, they can challenge for the title. Their bench is unbelievable. You've got Neto coming off the bench. You've got Nkuku coming off the bench. You've got João Felix coming off the bench. Dewsbury Hall coming off the bench. You've got Reece James to come back. You've got Badiashile on the bench as Lavia to come. Their team's unbelievable. They can challenge for the title. I'm telling you now, if they play like that and they believe in themselves, they have got a squad to challenge for the title. It's just whether they think that they're at that level yet.
In contrast, how concerned should Wolves fans be after watching that?
Yeah, a little bit worried for Gary O'Neill, actually. I thought first half they were really good. They fought their way back into the game after going behind. They kept creating chances. Second half, they run out of steam. And I looked at the bench and I'm looking at them going, who they're going to bring on. And there isn't, apart from Podence, there isn't really anyone on there who I'm looking at going that can make a real difference. Outclassed, all over the pitch. And, yeah, I'm a little bit worried for them. You've sold Kilman. You've sold Neto. Who have you brought in to make a difference? They could be in for a relegation fight.
Yeah, and on that point about Kilman, actually, and defensively, very young centre-half pairing of Mosquera and Totti Gomez. And a friend of mine who's a Wolves fan has just messaged me and said, tell OHara he was rubbish. No, he said...
he weren't wrong there.
He said, I don't understand why we're not playing Craig Dawson, just because of the experience. That if you want to play either a Gomez or a Mosquera, play him alongside someone like Craig Dawson.
Yeah, I think so. And I think Gary O'Neill will probably look at that now and say, maybe I need a bit of experience back there. Maybe I go to a 3 at the back or 5 at the back. You know, they played a 4 today and they got exposed. Doherty, I love Doc. He's a great lad. I think he gets exposed as a right back. I think if you play him in a wing back role, he can do better there because he can get caught, being too high up the pitch. And Aït-Nouri, defensively, 1v1, is not a great defender. He's really good going forward, but defensively he's not great. So you're looking at a team there who can get exposed at the back. So maybe they need Craig Dawson to maybe just sit in the middle of it and, be a leader on the pitch for them. And they go 5 at the back and maybe look at it and say, look, let's not get beat. But, they got found out today badly.
Just a final point, actually, about Wolves. And Gary O'Neill did a great job last season. And it was a similar story last summer in terms of selling key players. Not loads of funds made available to the manager, and it was why Julian Lopetegui eventually said, no thanks. And I think probably Gary O'Neill was in a position where he couldn't turn that job down at the time, but might be just beginning to see the financial restrictions of what he's working with.
Yeah, I mean, look, as I said, you sold Kilman and you've sold Neto, your best players. So what chance he got? It's like when Sheffield United come up, they sold their 2 best players, you've got no chance.
And that you can very quickly go from being 12th or 13th to right on the line.
Oh, 100%. Neto was a game changer, and Kilman again was a really good player for them. He was a star player, star performer. So you're looking at them players and thinking, well, you take them out of your side, it's hard enough as it is in the Premier League, and you're taking your best players out your side. And Gary O'Neill must be sat there thinking, all right, I'm going to have to regroup, I'm going to have to get this team going. But the players will be thinking it as well, saying, come on, help us out here. It gets harder and harder, the Premier League, every season. Teams improve. Teams will invest and get better players. You look at Chelsea, they've come in, they've spent another, £200-300 million. It's just, and Wolves are sat there thinking, well, we sold our best players, what chance we got? And you saw that today. There was a lack of belief in the end of the game from Wolves. They knew that they were outclassed all over the pitch.